Hello and welcome to another video, Military Guy, and this will be on the Mitchell cover for the US M1 helmet. So welcome to a beginner's tips video from a beginner really, because I've only been collecting these for a few months. On the Mitchell cover for the US M1 helmet. These are my two here, and I'll go into detail about tips and tricks to look for. But a bit of history on the Mitchell cover. At the end of World War II, US military, specifically the Marine Corps, after using the frog skin camo in the Pacific and then later in Korea, wanted a new camo for just more different environments really. In 1953 they began looking and experimenting with different patterns, and then they came to the decision that there'd be two patterns they preferred, and it's this one. This pattern, green side, is known as the wine or vine leaf. She's on that one. It's the main side you'd see in Vietnam. The green side was primarily used for the summer months and was used for green canopy environments. Then, the underneath, you'll see it's a brown side, reversible, just like the World War II and Korean ones. And that side was called the cloud pattern, or actually known as the Mitchell pattern. Green side was actually called the US Marine Corps Standard, and then the brown side was the clouds, and that was actually called the Mitchell pattern, this brown side. But for easiness they just called it, for simplicity reasons, to not get confused, the whole helmet of both patterns was just then put as the Mitchell pattern cover. Were first seen in 1953 on shelter halves used by the Marine Corps, and then from 1953 until they first started using them in 1959 on helmet covers. They were experimenting with them and just trying to get basically to see whether it would fit the environment. I'm going to go into the origin of where the cover actually came from, the name, the Mitchell pattern. I will put a link in the description to a great video of where I learned quite a lot of information just about the pattern itself, and that'll explain where the name Mitchell, where it got its name, the Mitchell pattern, from. Now, when they started making them, helmet covers in 1959, it was predominantly the Marine Corps that used them, and this one here, which I'm very proud to say I have, is a US Marine Corps cover under here. First ones have this little label on the underneath, as you can see there, cover helmet camouflage Marine Corps, and it's dated 1959. The first time this was used on a cover. Before that it was just a shelter half. As the United States got more involved in the Vietnam War, it wasn't just the Marines that would use the covers, so the Army and the Navy both adopted this as their helmet camouflage pattern, and then it was used all the way up to 1975 or 1976 was the last time there was a contract date for them. The helmet camouflage itself was then replaced by the Pasget helmets, and here I've got what it was replaced by. So it's replaced by the ERDL cover. This is a boonie hat. I won't go into detail. It's a boonie hat. That's the ERDL, so you can see the difference there. This boonie hat is dated 1969 on the inside. Brand new, old stock ERDL boonie. But back to the Mitchell cover. So, as a beginner, this is what you'll see on a helmet. You might just see the cover, or you might see on a helmet. This one is a 1965 twill pattern. No. This is a 1965 twill, and that is twill denotes the material that it was made out of. So it's quite a thicker, I say thicker material. You can clearly tell just by sort of looking at them. If you can see the texture of it compared to this one. So that was made out of cotton. That was made out of cotton twill. But it was only used on a few years of contract dates because they really didn't stand up to the heat and the battering they got really, and they tore easily and ripped and rusted through easily. This one's got a few little dings, but I really like that. It looks a bit worn, and this one's definitely worn. This one, 1959 one. So as you can see, these here buttonholes are on pretty much the same way that they were used on the US Marine Corps in World War II and the Korean War helmets. Is that they had the buttonholes for camouflage. You could put anything in there. This one's got it as well, but in a slightly different place. You can see. So they were used for camouflage. They were made for the soldiers to use camouflage through. And then we talk about the flaps. So this is a short flapped cover. So in around 1969, 1970, maybe even 68, they started to make long flapped Mitchell covers. And these were because, as you can see perfectly here, demonstrated here, where the helmet to go round the rim, the chin strap would not go in this gap, so soldiers would cut a hole for it to come through for easy access. And basically the producers of the Mitchell covers decided to extend this up here, so then the flaps were longer. They are long flapped ones. They are long flapped Mitchell covers, and are a few later dates, 77, like 1970s, where they're short flapped, but are then the long flapped in 1968, 1969, and from 1970 onwards. You can see, but this one that's on my helmet has the short flaps, but it's okay. The wearer has had it so it just goes nicely round. And then finally, how do you know the date of your cover? Well, it's as simple really. Oh, it's not very simple. I think it's on this one here. Yeah, there you go. So the cloud side, on the actual Mitchell pattern side, there will be a contract date, and it will have cover helmet camouflage, different fonts, might be a bit blacker, might be a bit worn. This one, the contract number 8189 denotes that it is from 1965 is when it was manufactured. This contract number, or this batch of Mitchell covers. Now, a lot of them will say that. I think it is only the 1959 ones have this little tag with the date on, with the Marine Corps, because it was only the 1959 ones that would have this. I think the next one does have possibly the Marine Corps on it, but it will not have this patch on. That was just the early first £2 Mitchell covers. So you've got, then they went to just making them just like the army was to make them like that. That is the best way to be able to quickly date it. I'll put the link in the description on the forum that I use, and I think probably most people go to now as go-to website to be able to date your Mitchell cover, and that is the best way to do it. Some of them may just have DSA-100-1970. Well, they won't say 1970, sorry, they'll just have 70 or 69, just like the Boonie hat. Or have DSA 100, and then that's 69 there for the C. That means it's 1969, and it's like it in the liners. So that is what it means on the inside. I think that covers everything on the Mitchell cover. It's probably more on the history of it than actually looking, but it's just a simple thing of that forum tells you whether it's twill or cotton or twill. It honestly depends on just sort of the feel of it. You'll be able to tell whether it's twill. They just have a different texture to them because they're made out of a different material. So yes, thank you very much for watching if you've got this far, and please do like and comment about your helmet covers, and if there's anyone that I can help or can send any videos or links to, I'll be most appreciated if you was just to comment, like. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Military Guy, and thank you.